But staying or closely linked to this debate, or whether all die be die, as I say, must do or die, is that debate about who have been better managers of the economy. Because at the end of the day, it matters to the people what they feel in their pockets. So the NDC held a forum, or a forum, a group that's affiliated to the NDC. They held a forum where they looked at the management of the economy, and for them, they felt that the NPP is using COVID-19 as an excuse, and the former president actually said that they're using COVID-19 as an excuse to suggest that that's why we're having to go through our challenges. Now, Dr. Kwame Asasante, this debate about who are better managers of the economy, how really relevant is it? Shouldn't it be left to the people who feel it in their pockets, so that if they have to go to the polls, they decide that at that point? Dr. Kwame Asasante.
Yes.
Yes.
Israel.
Yes.
I missed your question.
All right, so
Can you come again?
I'm making reference to the debates that has been going on this week about who are better managers of the economy, and it's been between the NPP and the NDC, and I'm asking whether this debate is relevant at all, and even at this point, why don't we leave that debate for the people to decide when they go to the polls?
Who are better managers of what? You said NDC?
The economy. So the NPP and the NDC, they are debating about who are better managers of the economy.
Yeah, Israel. Let me say that I'm just going to speak as an ordinary man because I'm not an economist.
Of course.
So that is the perspective I'm going to look at the issue. Yes, as you rightly said, it is a wearer of a shoe who knows where it pinches. Yes. The people have a superior understanding whether economy is doing well or not. That is a fact. But of course, it's not everything that they also understand in detail. So experts in that field will come out and tell us the state of affairs, and we will make decisions out of what they tell us, compared to our lives, how we feel, and then we give a clear picture of the situation on the ground. So that is, for me, the issue. Let us remember that in this country, the economy is the topmost agenda for the ordinary man when it comes to voting. He looks at how his survival will be. So he decides who to give his or her vote to. We need somebody who has better economic management ideas, somebody who has a track record worth following, and somebody who will make life better. Let us remember that if you are looking at this from the perspective of elections, voters always operate the theory of, rational choice perspective, that they go for things that satisfy their interests, that improve their lots. So the economy is one of the things. And interestingly, it is one of the issues that, irrespective of party tradition, ideology, and what have you, people depend on in making a decision at at elections. Yes. So it is very, very critical. We have seen huge numbers of unemployment. We have seen, lack of facilities and all that. We have seen interest group, in other words, pressure group coming out, asking things to be fixed and all that. All of them dovetail into the arena of the economy. So the economy is so critical when you want to talk about the smooth running of any political society. Because take it or leave it, a hungry man is an angry man. Yeah. And that people want their leaders to be able to provide for them the opportunities or the enabling environment so that they can make ends meet. That is so critical. And that one, you don't need any political economists or political scientists or economists to explain to one. The people know these things themselves.
All right. So there's an issue that ideally we would have had an NPP representative and then an NDC representative to speak to. We couldn't get the NPP to join. So, I'd want to beg so that we just move on to another issue, because
so I don't comment on it.
That debate has gone on in the, and it would have been ideal to have the two of you. But I'd want you to.
That's not fair. I didn't stop them from coming, and once I'm here, I should have the opportunity.
I wanted to speak to things that you can have Dr. Kwame Asante also speak to, so it doesn't become more like a...
No, but the thing is, I shouldn't suffer for the absence of the New Patriotic Party.
We can skip this one.
I don't think it's fair, Israel.
What do you want to say?
Thank you, at least. You see, the point about the economy, when the NDC was in power, and at a point was doing a single-digit inflation first ever, was doing a 14% GDP growth, first ever and highest since. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was the vice president, used to shop at Malata and to use the prices of goods at Malata to discredit those. I don't know the last time he went to Malata, but if he does one of these days, he will notice how astronomical prices, on the shelves of sellers have been. People, for example, who used to pay about 36,000, 35,000 Ghana, 36 Ghana cedis, not 1,000, 36 Ghana cedis. 36 Ghana cedis for cement. Only about 4 or 5 months ago. are now having to pay almost 60 Ghana cedis for it. And we all know the huge housing deficit that we have and how we all struggle to just, raise a roof over our heads. Iron rods can't be touched. The price has almost doubled. I'm not even talking about food staples. In fact, this month, we are told that food inflation has caused, the rate of inflation, has increased the rate of inflation by about 20%. Just food inflation alone for this month.
Okay.
That's from the Statistical Service.
So inflation has gone up, yes, and it's as a result of food inflation.
Exactly.
To blame.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the commodities, and I said I don't even want to talk about food items because the record actually shows this month.
Okay, so
it is worse.
You land on this.
It is worse. And you see, why are we where we are? Look, read the latest IFS report or assessment of the economy, and you will feel sad. Look at the IMF July release after the assessment, and almost all the things that, as a party, we have been warning over the years are highlighted in there. But the tragedy is that when we raise them, it is easily dismissed, like you were going to do a while ago, because it is raised by a politician. But all the facts, by the professionals like the IFS show to issues that we have raised over the period. For example,
I know that if we touched on this, we're going to go on and on. We can't also dismiss the fact that we've had a COVID-19 pandemic.
We can't.
Okay.
We can't.
So can we just leave it here at this point? Because there are other things I want us to talk about.
In fact, the IFS assessment actually shows when our decline began. And that was long before COVID. Right. And that is what we have been saying. Nobody is dismissing the impact of COVID. But the point we have strongly been making is that the reckless management and the effects of that reckless management started showing before COVID. And so we did not even have the shocks we should have had to contain the impact of COVID. And that is why the effect is that disastrous.
Well noted, Alassane Suini. And I must actually indicate that we invited the NPP. They didn't show up. So that's for it.
And I showed up, and you are not letting me enjoy
So you have spoken. No, but you have spoken. Dr. Kwame Asante, the other issue I wanted to talk about before we wrap up has to do with Guinea. So Guinea has been suspended from ECOWAS following the coup. And there are those who are saying that why would ECOWAS allow or tolerate the overthrow of the constitution only for them to come at the country when there's a military uprising?
Yeah, that is a good observation people have made, and I share in that observation. But you see, the reason why I share in that observation is that if you look at the continent of Africa, it's not only Guinea. You have Djibouti, you have Algeria, you have the rest of them. That is what we call the third term agenda, where countries, leaders of African countries try to manipulate the constitution using parliament for a third term tenure, a third term, and for me, that is very worrying because democracy set limits. If you read the Greek history, in the 7th century, the Greeks introduced tenure into their political system, that you are giving opportunity to serve your people to a certain point, after which you may not have opportunity to come back, and the rest of it all. The modern state that followed that example is France in 1700s, where they also introduced tenure into government because they don't want accumulation of power to the extent of becoming tyrannical. They don't want a situation where people can become swollen-headed and it takes them off course. So tenure was introduced, and from that time, that is from 1700s and all that, we have what? Democratic systems that are, they have inbuilt into those systems tenure. So I was surprised to see all this while, not only Guinea, but the rest of Africa with a number of countries doing the third term agenda. And AU and ECOWAS and other sub-regional blocs sit down and watch them doing this. Look at the situation in Sierra Leone, in Guinea, issue of human rights abuse, issue of manipulation of electoral system, issue of corruption, mismanagement, and all that. But we sit down and don't talk about it. Now you have coup on our hand, and there is a justification that we overthrew the government based on ABC, EF. For me, it is a worrying development because, look, whether we like it or not, democracy is the way to go. And I also blame the people of Guinea, in the sense that there's irrespective of the fact that we have state sovereignty, for which reasons body like ECOWAS and AU may have some control, but to a limit. But the people have popular sovereignty, the right that is in your hand to throw a government away when the government refuses to do your bidding. That was lost on the people. And for me, these are some of the things that have brought us to this far. It's very, very unfortunate. But we have seen some of these things and the justification. If you read theories about the military, they have all manner of theories and actions that they do, and the ordinary man gets happy. Yes, now they are releasing people from prison and all that. All right, people obviously will be happy, and they've begun to all hail the coup makers and all that. These are part of the schemes of every military junta as soon as they take power from constitutionally elected bodies, all right, just to get people on their side. But give them a little time, and you realize that the very things that they condemn, they come back to do it. We saw that in 1966 when all criticisms were leveled against Nkrumah having detained people without trial and all that. As soon as the Free Fair and Co. they took over, they also put people in prison. Preventive Custody Act. Whilst people were taken out of Preventive Detention Act, they were also in prison. So it's a matter of robbing Peter to pay Paul in that regard. And that is exactly what we are seeing here. Yeah, my view is that we should...
Yes, you were making the point, but I just wanted to ask, how would you suggest that ECOWAS goes about this?
Yeah, that is my view. My view is that we should be able to engage them. Eminent people across the continent, we should find them to go mediate, talk to the coup leaders to disengage. for sanctions, it may not bite. All right, we need people to talk to them to disengage, because it is in the interest of the soldiers themselves to disengage quickly, because people who have staged coup will always been hunted by that activity. And we have seen that. If you read the first letter that he wrote to General Achampong, telling Achampong to do the needful, because he was so worried about the role that he played in 1966 and all the rest. If you read Professor Michael Quay's book, you will find this letter there, and it gives us food for thought, that he even saw that somebody will come one day, line them up and shoot them one by one. And this came to light. Yeah. So we want the coup makers to disengage quickly, but they will not do that on their own accord. We need our leaders of Africa to, push them to that by getting a mediation team in there, talk to them, they disengage quickly so that we return the country to democratic rule. Okay. Take it or leave it. Whether we like democracy or not, it is the only game in town. And we should do every effort to defend and support it, and strengthen its frontiers, so that we don't go to the ugly scene of democratic reversals, which have plagued a lot of countries, especially those in Latin America and in Africa and other parts of the world. We must be very careful, because and it has implications for countries which are bordering with that country.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante. And I come to you, Alassane Suhuyini. How do you suggest ECOWAS goes about this? Because you want to be careful, you don't make it, you don't legitimize coups if you're negotiating with these, so-called rebels.
Israel is a tragedy. I really do not see how ECOWAS can make an impact as far as things stand. Yes, they announced a suspension yesterday, but really, what is the effect of that suspension? We all wait to see. In the past, the effect has not been that grim to, deter anybody from engaging in what the military did in Guinea. But the tragedy did not just start with the coup. I mean, it began with the change in the constitution to give a third term, to the president, with ECOWAS leaders looking on, and even the chair and others attending the inauguration of the third term of the president. So clearly, anybody operating in Guinea today is not going to be comfortable with these ECOWAS leaders who watched on when the constitution was changed and actually participated in the inauguration of the man's third term. They are not going to be received, as neutral arbiters when they should have been, So I do not really see the way forward for ECOWAS. I think that maybe, and that is a sad part, I am not one who is very quick to want an intervention from outside Africa in the resolution of our problems. But as things stand now, if it is not the AU, which is another, club that is not really, living up to its full potential, then it has to be some international agencies getting involved, maybe because they may have played roles that does not, put them out there as compromise. Yeah. They may be able to broker some deal with the military to quicken the transition to a democratic, rule, which is what we all desire. I mean, like Doc said, no matter your grievances against democracy, it is still, the way to go. It is still better than, the military regime. Especially in Ghana, we should know better. We know how many decades we have gone back as a result of the repeated interruptions in our governance system. And perhaps as a legislator, I need to make the point that when these things happen, it is the legislature that suffers the most. Yeah. Because the executive somehow still functions. The judiciary somehow, even if you call it a kangaroo judiciary, still functions. It is the parliament where the representative of the people, and you can underestimate or undermine the efforts of parliamentarians to, absorb shocks that could have hit, the country and destabilize it, but you cannot dismiss the fact that their representation, amounts to something, which also contributes to the growth of our country.
Right.
So in that light, I think that with all the grievances we have against how democracy serves us, we still have not modeled a better system of government beyond democracy.
Right.
And that is why we must ensure that whoever is intervening must do so fast and ensure that the military guys fast-track their transition back to democracy, because Guinea's stability is key and important to the progress of the sub-region.
Okay, so I actually indicated we're going to do some sports, and I'd want to give you just 30 seconds, because we can't do without talking about the Black Stars. So for you, 30 seconds, what do we do with the Black Stars? I'll come to you, Dr. Kwame Asante, to also give us that. What do we do with the Black Stars?
That's
you think Siki Akono should go?
That's a very difficult question. I honestly do not know what we should do with the Black Stars. Just like
all right.
I was watching the game the other day with Bafana, and they were all over the place. I still had some hope that maybe things will get better. But immediately we conceded the goal. I just picked my gym bag and I was off. I didn't want to know, because they must understand that we still have love for them. But that love is so dying, but every now and then we still hold on to some hope that they will revive the love. But somehow we still are not able to get it.
It's tough love. Yes. Dr. Kwame Asante, wrap-up comments. What should we do with the Black Stars?
Israel, it's unfortunate I cannot comment, because Black Stars have disappointed me over the years. And because of that, I have decided not to watch Black Stars match for a while. Because the disappointment was becoming too much for me. I could not bear it. But I pray for them, because that's my national team. But now I don't want to put myself into the
harm's way.
And sure, I want to save myself. But I always pray for them. But I want to save myself. So I can't comment. In fact, I don't follow. I don't know the last time I watched football match. I'm so sorry.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kwame Asante, a political scientist. And thank you to you, Alassane Suyini, MP Tamale Central, as well. We're taking a break here on the AM show. We'll bring you some housing conversation for those of you wishing to own your own homes. After this break, we have Cities and Habitats joining us. Stay tuned in.